Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang channel. Thanks for joining me once again. Chaosium Inc. week continues, as today I am going to dive on in and take a first look at Call of Cthulhu Down Darker Trails from the aforementioned Chaosium Inc. This is written by Kevin Ross with Keith Herber, Scott David Eniolowski, David Cole, Todd A. Woods, Nicholas Nicario, Paul Fricker, and Mike Mason. This 256-page hardcover with PDF carries an MSRP of $44.95. Now, you get the free PDF if you order from Chaosium or one of their partners. Or if you'd like, you can grab just the PDF alone over at DriveThruRPG for $22.95. All that said, let's swing on over to the other camera, because here I've got Down Darker Trails for Call of Cthulhu. Before we jump on in, a few things I do want to mention. First of all, my friends over at Chaosium Inc. were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. These days, it's very important that you know that. We're also not going to look at each and every page of Down Darker Trails, but I do want to give you a good feel for what's in this book. And I've never had an opportunity to take a peek at this either, so this is all brand new to me. I'm not sure if there's any adventures in this book. I get the feeling there's probably one or two. So if you are a player and your keeper has maybe picked this up, but they haven't run it yet, or maybe they're thinking of picking this up, when we get into the adventures, I would probably recommend you tune out, because if there are adventures in this, you're going to see some of the surprises ruined, even though I know nothing about what's in this book outside of, an overall understanding that it is a Western setting. Don't want to have those surprises ruined. Now, of course, if your keeper has been bouncing around picking up Down Darker Trails, by all means, tell them about this video. Get a closer look, get a better feel for this book. All right, so let's take a look at the back. I'm not going to read everything here, but we'll read a little bit. Saddle up, get yourself a posse together, and have a look-see what's over that hill. There's strange rumors coming in from the Whispering Desert. You'd best put around in that iron and make haste. Down Darker Trails is a new setting for Call of Cthulhu, the American West of the late 19th century. The era of gold rushes, outlaws, and lawmen discovering an expansion. Rub shoulders with the likes of Wild Bill Hickok, Crazy Horse, and Calamity Jane, while journeying through towns like Deadwood and Dodge City, names and places that have transcended history to become legend. Down these dark trails, the taint of the Cthulhu Mythos stirs, ready to lure the unwary and tempt the power-hungry with whispered secrets of cosmic knowledge. This is a west of hidden worlds, lost treasures and cities, dubious deeds and unsavory alliances. A land filled with beauty, mystery, terror, and wild adventure. I have to admit, this text on that background, not so easy to read. So, thankfully I didn't stumble over it too badly. All right, so let's dive on in. So if you saw my first look at RuneQuest, the Smoking Ruin, and other stories yesterday, you know that I was corresponding with my friends over at Chaosium Inc., and there were actually a handful of books for Call of Cthulhu and RuneQuest that I had never had an opportunity to actually take a peek at, share videos of, or review. And they sent them all to me. This box that I got contained 9 books. So that's why it is Chaosium Inc. week. Every day this week, we are diving on into at least one of the books, maybe even more. So here we've got our credits. We've got quite a few illustrators. So we want to make sure that we give them some credit. We've got the acknowledgments here also. I think this is a relatively new print run of this book. I can tell you right now, some of these pages are kind of sticking together. So this might be a really fresh volume. So here we've got Old West Investigators. So that should have all of our character creation rules and some of the changes, the skills and things like that. Equipment and weapons, optional rules. So we now have horse and vehicle chase rules for the Old West. Insanity and its treatment in the Old West. We've got the historical West. So it looks like about 70, 80 pages devoted to that. Then we have the supernatural West, lost worlds of the Old West, designing Old West adventures. And then it looks like we've got a couple of locations. Yeah, there we go. So we've got a couple of adventures. Look like they're relatively short adventures. Something from Down There and Scanlan's Daughter. And then we've got a bibliography. I have to say, if you are not familiar with Haunted West from Chris Spivey, who has done a lot of Call of Cthulhu adventures over the years, I get the feeling that the two together, Down Darker Trails and Haunted West, would probably set you up really, really well if you are looking to run a horror campaign taking place in the Wild West. I kind of get the impression that Down Darker Trails is more Lovecraftian in nature, more cosmic horror, whereas Haunted West, you can kind of run it however you'd like, but it does have a bit more of a Weird West feel to it. All right, so we've got creating characters. So I would think we're not going to see a huge change in how you're going to put together your core attributes and things like that. Looks like we've got some cool tables here if you want to let the roll of the dice determine various aspects of your character. Here's our quick reference chart. Different occupations: artist, craftsperson, doctor, cowboy or cowgirl, miner/prospector, rancher, outlaw. Then we got some new skills. Actually, I think this is page before it is probably going to talk about, yep, there we go, altered and new skills. So Drive Auto would exist. It's just going to be late into the Western period, real late in it. So we've got gambling, rope use, new language, Indian, and then a specialization, of course, depending on the tribe. What else we got? Trap. Here's our quick fire character creation method. Looks like Annie Oakley. Not sure if it was, but that's who it looked like. Looked like that was a picture of Annie Oakley. So we're going to get into equipment and weapons. So we've got pricing here. As you can see, with just about everything that comes out from Chaosium Inc. these days, and yes, I know this came out a few years ago, not too many years ago, I think 2020-ish. But past few years, just the production quality of Chaosium releases, regardless what game system it is, has just been absolutely phenomenal. Really, really has. So we've got our various different weapons. What kind of pistols do we have? Quite a few revolvers there. Got some holdout weapons. Some optional rules. So we've got increased hit points, being quick on the draw, fanning. What else we got? Shooting with the offhand. Of course, these are all optional. Got some adjustments to our chase rules, especially with horses. Discussion of insanity and its treatment in the Old West. Certainly not good. And then we'll get into the historical West. Very interesting. We get a timeline here. So this appears to be a pretty solid overview. The land and the legends. So this is still all historical information. These are not legends of the West or anything along those lines, or I should say Western mythology. Because I guess we could say people like Wild Bill Hickok would be legends of the West, whereas Pecos Bill would be Western mythology. Looks like we're getting some brief information about some of the tribes. Now we're going to get into some historical personalities. There's William Bonney, Billy the Kid, Calamity Jane. Is that Mark? Yeah, I was going to say, that looks like Mark Twain. Sam Clemens. There's Buffalo Bill. Buffalo Bill Cody. Mary Fields. Doc Holliday. Got our bookmark there. There's Annie Oakley again. If that was Annie Oakley before, I'm pretty sure it was. William Tecumseh Sherman. All right, come on, get out of there, bookmark. Bookmark keeps wanting to get in the way. Keeps trying to poke itself back out of the page. Here we've got some NPCs, just standard NPCs such as a gunfighter, Pinkerton detective, preacher. The supernatural West. Here we go. Monsters of the Old West. Avatars of Nyarlathotep. At least that's how I've always pronounced it. Avatars of Yidra. Sampled non-traditional Cthulhu Mythos books. The Diary of Agnes Miller. The McCoy Codex. Oh, this is cool. So we've got some new Mythos books. New magic for shamans. Lost Worlds of the Old West. In this chapter, a number of optional lost worlds are presented, which investigators might discover while roaming and delving into the mysteries of the Old West. Of these, only Lost Valley has a specific geographic location, as set out in the story that it is taken from. But even this is subject to the Keeper's whims. All of these lost worlds are essentially movable by the Keeper. There are probably many well-hidden and well-guarded entrances into Kenyan throughout North America. The Shadow Desert may be accessible practically anywhere, and El Canon de los Vejos can be placed anywhere that best serves the Keeper's needs. Interesting. So Lost Valley is inspired by Robert E. Howard's The Secret of Lost Valley, aka the Valley of the Lost. Interesting. So are we going to get kind of a Hollow Earth kind of thing? Well, looks like we are going to see some dinosaurs added to the mix. That's interesting. Designing Old West adventures. So this is aimed at the Keeper here. So it looks like this is a location. It is a gold rush town in the Dakota Territory. It's our location on the map. Then we've got a map of the town, the camp directory. So if you're looking for a stand-in for, say, Deadwood, There you've got it. Some of the important NPCs. Occult features and the mythos. And we've got San Rafael. This is going to be a Texas town or Mexican town. A locale for the Old West, San Rafael, on the Texas and Mexico border. Well, there you go. Guess it could have been both. A place where rival families feud, ghosts of the past strike terror, and legendary riches may be uncovered. This chapter provides an overview of the locale's history and its key people, as well as local threats and possible mythos connections. I'm liking this so far. But I have to be honest, I like a vast majority of the releases that come out from Chaosium Inc., regardless of game system. They just do phenomenal work. Just phenomenal. Okay, so here's our first adventure, Something from Down There. So I'll just give you a little info here. Something from Down There is suitable as an introductory scenario for players and keepers for the Down Darker Trails setting. It can be set in any location where mining is taking place, whether it's in the mountains near San Rafael, the hills outside of Powhatan, that was the other town, that was the Gold Rush town, or somewhere else of the keeper's devising. The situation is fairly straightforward, but successfully dealing with the problem may test even experienced investigators. If a party of more than 4 or 5 investigators plays the scenario, the keeper might want to have the main opposition be especially crafty in its tactics, or perhaps add an additional creature to the fray to present more of a challenge. Aha. So we've got some maps here. So it looked like it was about 12 pages long, thereabouts. Whoa. Scanlan's Daughter. Well, there's a spoiler for us right there. Scanlan's Daughter is set in 1870. It can be set just about anywhere the keeper desires, but the default location is near the border town of San Rafael, detailed in Chapter 9 of this book. Most of the events take place on the ranches of the Scanlan and Romero families, so investigators with ties to ranching are most suitable for play. Other investigators may be friends or neighbors of one of the families or interested parties from San Rafael. The adventure is playable with smaller groups, but if more than 3 to 4 investigators are in play, the keeper should increase the degree of hostility between the Scanlan and Romero families. All right. I'll mention that I did receive the Stillwater adventure book. So stay tuned. Later on this week, we will be taking a peek inside of that. I know it's funny to think there were 9 books from Chaosium Inc., plus some of the solitaire scenarios, which I actually didn't ask for. Although I did get Alone Against the Static because that is a new hardcover that has come out, even though Sammy has reviewed it and liked it quite a bit. But it's just incredible that there were 9 Chaosium books that somehow I just didn't cover. It was like, wow. But my friends at Chaosium Inc. always set me up. They always take care of me. So it looks like we're going to wrap up with an index. We've got some biographies of the authors. Did we have a bibliography? I thought we hit, oh, there we go. There's our bibliography. Very nice. And of course, we get a new character sheet, couple of character sheets there. And that is Call of Cthulhu Down Darker Trails from my pals over at Chaosium Inc. And of course, I will have a review of Down Darker Trails in the very near future. All right, that is it for this time out. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already, and if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell, because it'll not only let you know when I upload videos such as this first look, it'll also inform you when my live stream, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you will not find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you'll join me again throughout Chaosium Inc. week, because I've got plenty of coverage on the horizon. And of course, until I see you next time, here's hoping all of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.